Tonight, heartbroken and healing.
We're going to heal and get better, and we're all here with each other to do so.
The deaf community coming together. A wife, suddenly a widow.
So it's almost been 1 year of, and then he was killed, and it's so senseless, and I don't understand why.
A look at the 18 people who lost their lives in Lewiston, how a manhunt came to an end, and how families and friends are finding strength to move forward.
It's a miracle, really, that I'm still here.
18 people lost, 18 families grieving and trying to heal tonight in Lewiston and beyond after Maine's worst mass shooting. Now, with the manhunt now over, loved ones, families, friends, communities, all now shifting their focus from fear to healing. Police say right now they want the nation to remember Maine as a community that's coming together. At a news briefing last night, police gave the long hoped-for update on the manhunt. The lone suspect was found 7:45 Friday night, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on a property owned by the Maine Recycling Corporation on Capitol Avenue in Lisbon. His body found in an unlocked box trailer in an overflow parking lot across from the main facility. They also say they found 2 guns next to his body, although not the long gun possibly used in the mass shootings. That found in his abandoned vehicle at the boat launch 2 days before. Police also talked about the note they found in his home earlier in the investigation.
It's a note to a loved one, and is saying that this is the passcode for my phone, this is the bank account numbers, and I wouldn't describe it as a explicit suicide note, but the tone and tenor was that the individual was not going to be around and wanted to make sure that this loved one had access.
Now, police say the suspect's family has been very cooperative throughout, and that the first 3 phone calls identifying him during the manhunt came from family members. Also tonight, there are growing memorials for the victims all across parts of Lewiston and beyond. If you'd like to help, you can scan the QR code on your screen. The state has a website now dedicated to helping families and communities affected by this tragedy. That QR code on your screen will take you directly to that website. It includes ways that you can help the victims and the families, mental health support resources, and much, much more. Well, there are a number of vigils and events planned for Sunday as well. Here are just a few happening tomorrow. The Basilica in Lewiston will hold a prayer service from 2 to 3 p.m. There will be a candlelight vigil also at the Basilica at 6 p.m. And Bangor is holding a vigil at the city steps there, the front of City Hall, at 6:30 p.m. And here's where hospitalizations at Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston from Wednesday night shooting stand right now. As of about 3 this afternoon, 4 patients still in the hospital, 3 still fighting for their lives, listed in critical condition. That's been the same case since Wednesday night, and 1 does remain in stable condition. While that care continues, a different type of healing process is underway now for those whose loved ones didn't make it. CBS 13's Asia Reed spoke today with the wife of a person who was deaf and died at Shemengi's bar.
Wednesday's shootings hit the deaf community hard. They lost 4 people that night, one of them being Steve Vella.
I met him July of 2009, and we were together for 14 years until we were just married last year. It hasn't been that long.
Holding a photo of him closely, Megan Vozella talks about the last time she saw her husband Steve alive, Wednesday morning.
Steve always said, "Bella, I love you." So that's the last time he told my daughter, "I love you." I gave him a kiss goodbye, said, "I love you." Off we went.
After work, they chatted over video right before he went to Shemengi's.
I called my husband, just checking in, see how he was doing. "How's your day going?" He smiled. He was joyful.
That was the last time they ever spoke. Hours later, Steve, who was deaf, was relaxing with others playing cornhole. Moments later, he was gone forever.
And then he was killed, and it's so senseless, and I don't understand why. He's precious to me. He's always happy. He's always asking about other people, always taking care of his family.
Megan Vozella says she can finally breathe now, but there's a lot of healing to do.
It's too much. We're just grieving. We're in shock. I can breathe a little bit now, but we'll never forget this. The pain will continue on, and it really hurts, and it's just so painful to see gun violence.
Megan Vella says to please give their family space at this time. And the best thing that she can do right now is give support to her daughter and her stepson. In South Paris, Asia Reed, CBS 13 News.
And while Steve Vozella died at that bar that night, we are hearing more of the harrowing stories of survival. CBS 13's Brad Rogers joining us live outside of Schmenge's bar, where police have now reopened Lincoln Street there. And Brad, you had a chance to speak with a woman who got a good look at that gunman before she was shot herself.
Yeah, she did, Greg. Right before she was shot, in fact. She was, her name was Jennifer Zanka, and she was out with 4 friends golfing when 4 of them decided to come here afterwards to Schmenge's. She says she had her back to the door when she heard rapid gunfire. One of those bullets hit her right here in the left shoulder, and an exploding bullet, as she put it, a bullet meant to cause maximum damage. Now, as a former nurse, Jennifer thought that bullet hit an artery, so she feared she would bleed out and die before ever getting to the hospital.
I heard the gun. I heard the rapid fire, just that. It was just so odd. So I turned around, and I could see the expression on the other girl's face, like, get down. So I looked at the gunman, and I just dropped to the floor, and we crawled.
Jennifer Zanka was shot on the shoulder while she was trying to crawl to safety. Her sister-in-law played dead while a friend hid in a closet. She made it out, and as a former nurse, she used her right hand to hold her left shoulder like a tourniquet and flag down help. She may be the only survivor who got a good look at the gunman's face.
And then I sort of remember it was just this sort of blank, vacant. It was like vacant. I don't know how else to describe it. I'll be going along fine and talking to people, and then I have that vision of that man with a machine gun or whatever, and it's a miracle, really, that I'm still here. It didn't hit an artery. I didn't have any nerve damage. I won't really have much functioning in my bicep or my deltoid, but it's I have function in my hand.
Zanka used to work with one of the surgeons who operated on her and says they did an incredible job. She's also been talking to the friend she was with that night.
I've asked them how they're doing. They seem to be okay. But I do think that in time, it needs to come out because what we saw was horrific. I keep going over in my mind, like, what could make someone snap like that, and what can we do different?
She says what's amazing in the wake of this unbelievable tragedy is the outpouring of support from this entire community, this entire state.
The outpouring of support and love and community is just blows me away, and it's really heartening, to have that kind of support.
Jennifer Zanka's friends were not hurt. She says the surgery did go incredibly well, but she will know more when she meets with doctors next week as to whether she will need more surgeries in the future. We're just glad she's doing much better, though, and she's glad she's okay. We're live in Lewiston. Brad Rogers, CBS 13 News. Greg?
Yeah, obviously could have been so much worse. We continue to hope for a strong recovery for her, Brad. Thank you. Also happening tonight, hundreds gathering for a vigil in Lisbon for the 18 people who died Wednesday night, as well as for the injured and their families. CBS 13's Owen Kingsley has been talking with people in the community there. He joins us live. And Owen, you also spoke with a mother and a daughter who were very close to one of the heroes in these shootings.
Greg, good evening. Just a few minutes ago, that first large-scale vigil just came to an end. It's beginning that grieving process for this community. But yes, earlier today, I did speak with Madison Sanborn and her mom. Madison is cornhole partners with Joe Walker, the manager of Schmenge's. Madison says that Joe is more than just a friend. He's an inspiration, and especially now, since his death. This community is still in mourning. Madison Sanborn is just one of those people who lost someone special in their lives, Joe Walker. Walker is being hailed a hero.
Everyone knew I loved cornhole and played at Schmenge's, and so I had 3 people text me being like, "Where are you? Are you home? Are you safe?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" They're like, "There was a shooting at Schmenge's."
A gunman came inside Schmenge's bar and grill Wednesday evening after already shooting and killing 7 people at a bowling alley and shot and killed 8 more. Joe Walker's dad says his son attacked the shooter with a knife, losing his life while trying to save others.
And risked his life for those people because that's just who he is.
Madison Sanborn met Walker last year when he taught her to play cornhole. She says Joe took her under his wing and they became partners, winning several tournaments together. But her greatest memory isn't any of the wins, but when another of her playing partners inexplicably left in the midst of a tournament. That's when Joe gave her a pep talk, then hopped in to help her finish.
That moment, I ended up crying, not because I lost, because of how grateful I was for Joe and that he was there for me in that moment.
This Sunday is Madison's 15th birthday, and she was going to spend it playing cornhole at Schmenge's with her partner Joe in a tournament that he organized. Instead, she found out Thursday from Walker's nephew, a classmate of hers, that he had died.
Me, my mom, my sister all just broke down. We didn't know what to say or do. We just kind of cried it out.
Since his passing, this cornhole community is paying tribute to Walker's sacrifice and passion for the game by signing up for his Sunday tournament, even though now it will happen only in spirit.
We're going to heal and get better, and we're all here with each other to do so.
So far, more than 9,000 people have signed up for that cornhole tournament. Well, here in Lisbon, things have been emotional as well. That first candlelight vigil since that Wednesday night shootings has just ended a few minutes ago. Coming up later this hour, we'll have a few details about what was said. And we're coming up here live in Lisbon. Right now, live in Lisbon, I'm Owen Kingsley, CBS 13 News.
All right, Owen, we'll check back in again soon. Thank you. We also do want to take a moment now amid all of these stories to name each and every one of the 18 people who lost their lives here in our state. Pictured from left top there to right, 55-year-old Ronald Morin, 40-year-old Peyton Brewer Ross, 36-year-old Joshua Seal, 41-year-old Brian McFarland, 57-year-old Joseph Lawrence Walker, 42-year-old Arthur Fred Strout, 35-year-old Max Hathaway, 45-year-old Stephen Vozella, 34-year-old Thomas Ryan Conrad, 51-year-old Michael Delorier II, 51-year-old Jason Adam Walker, 53-year-old Tricia Aslan, 44-year-old William Young, his son, 14-year-old Aaron Young, 76-year-old Robert Violet, and his wife, 73-year-old Lucille Violet, 48-year-old William Frank Brackett, and 64-year-old Keith D. McNair. We'll be back with many more stories of survival and healing next. Continuing our coverage and putting the focus back on the investigation for the moment, law enforcement sources telling us more about the manhunt and what may have led up to these deadly acts. CBS 13's Johnny Maffey has tonight's new details.
The search for the shooter may be over, but the investigation is far from it. Maine Public Safety Commissioner Mike Soschek says the motive is still unclear, but mental health played a key factor.
I think clearly there's a mental health component to this. We still need to do some research around trying to get access to certain records and things of that nature.
Deceased Lewiston mass shooting suspect Robert Card's mental state was addressed, including what led Card to allegedly opening fire in the first place. Commissioner Soschek said paranoia could have played a role.
What I've read and what I've seen is that the individual felt like people were talking about him. It may even appear that there were some voices in play here. And we don't believe that any of that is accurate. I think that led him specifically back to those two specific locations.
Concerns about Card from commanders in the Army Reserve have surfaced since the shooting, leading to tough questions about Maine's yellow flag law, which outlines several steps that have to be taken before a weapon can be removed from a person who poses a danger to himself or others. But in this case, because while Card was institutionalized for 2 weeks this summer, it's not clear if he was committed by someone else forcibly at any point, which is required to apply the yellow flag law.
Did you say that you don't know of any forcible mental health visits, or there were not any forcible?
There's none that I'm aware of. We've had people check that have told me that they haven't found those. So if they exist, I'm sure we'll continue to dig and try to find them, but I haven't found them.
So a quick follow-up to that then.
Yep.
We're learning there may have been from a local source high up in law enforcement that we have. If you found that the yellow flag law should have been enacted, how will you hold those responsible?
So that's a pretty good hypothetical from whoever your source is. We'll have to look at the actual snapshot in time. The yellow flag law in the state of Maine is very specific about an individual that's in protective custody from law enforcement to begin with. And do we have probable cause to believe that they are in possession, they could be in possession of dangerous weapons?
18 people died Wednesday night.
My broader question would be, will you work to try to prevent things like this from happening?
I would tell you that the weapons restriction order in Maine has been utilized 82 times. It has been effective to this point, and it's certainly something that we're always looking at. Can we tweak it? Can we make things better?
And we're told investigators will be at the bar in the bowling alley at least through the weekend, searching, quote, every square inch. Reporting in Lewiston, I'm Johnny Maffey.
And as we mentioned, the lone suspect's body was found at a location not far from where his car was found there in Lisbon, where he used to work. Now police had already searched the main part of the Maine Recycling Corporation. Again, if we have the map here, we may not have it for you, but here it is right now, located near the upper left of your screen there. But they hadn't done that same intensive search at an overflow lot owned by that same company, which is right across the street there on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Now we continue our team coverage with Megan Clark. She's joining us live outside of that location with more on how the officers finally made that key discovery, Megan, after days of searching.
Well, before this major headline made the news here across Maine, as you mentioned, authorities had already searched and cleared that main center twice. That is just up the road from where we are now. But they came back here Friday after a tip from a supervisor. It led them here, and that's when tactical teams were called in. Police standing guard Saturday outside the Maine Recycling Corporation in Lisbon, hours after the body of suspected mass shooter Robert Card was discovered in the back of a box trailer unlocked in an overflow parking lot.
55, 60, 53-foot tractor-trailer trucks parked there. A lot of areas, but the supervisor called us from Maine Recycling, gave us that info yesterday evening saying, listen, some of those trucks are full of stuff. Plenty of places to hide. You know, it's recycled plastic and materials. He could climb up in over it, hunker down.
While agents and police covered Lisbon and Lewiston, state police tactical teams rushed into the center, going through massive trucks like this one.
They're manually searching these tractor-trailer trucks for somebody that's just shot so many people and murdered so many people.
Around 7:45 Friday night, Lisbon Chief Ryan McGee got a call. Card was found inside, along with at least one gun.
He said, we got him. That was a good feeling, and it was a good feeling.
The recycling center sending out a statement clarifying Card was a commercial driver for about a year and left the company last spring, saying, "We may never know and certainly will never comprehend why he committed these horrific acts against our neighbors and friends, or why he chose to end his life where he did." A nearby business owner who did not want to share his name is also processing the terrible events just minutes away.
Like Brian McGee said today in the press conference, it needs to be more focused on the victims, not, so much for the person that did it at the moment. We really need to, help them get through this.
His company is working on a job at the center. Some of his equipment is still on site. He visited the lot days ago to check on the job. Like many, he now hopes for healing.
I believe we're all going to get past this. It's just going to take time. That's all it's going to be. Just need to focus back on to, now the manhunt's over, just need to focus on the victims and the families.
And police have opened up this area and this roadway back to traffic. They say there is a lot of work to do as this is still an active homicide investigation. Reporting in Lisbon tonight, Megan Clark. Greg, back to you.
All right, Megan Clark from our sister station WGLA out of Washington. Megan, we certainly appreciate you and your team's help this week. Also ahead here tonight, stories of horror, but also heroism. What one friend is saying about the man who tried to save families and children at that bowling alley as those first shots rang out. We do want to emphasize so many heroes have emerged from this tragedy too. We know some of the employees at the Just-in-Time Bowling Center and Schmenge's Bar and Grill, they actually died trying to protect their friends and their customers, including children at that bowling alley. Let's go back live now to CBS 13's Brad Rogers in Lewiston. And Brad, you spoke with a man who worked at that bowling alley who lost some close friends that night.
Yeah, he certainly did. Wednesday is Josh D'Angelo's only night off at the bowling alley. He found out what had happened from a close friend who was there that night. Now, one of his close friends there, Thomas Conrad, was shot and killed. He was the general manager at the bowling alley, and he says that he would often greet people at the door.
He was a great guy, just in general. But what sticks out most for me is his love with the kids. You know, every kid that came in, he wanted to make sure they had the best time they ever did at the bowling alley. I'm pretty sure he was one of the first people to be shot. And he was always real close to the front entrance or at the front desk. And from what I heard, he charged the gunman.
So many acts of bravery right that. I mean, he could have saved some children's lives by doing that.
Yeah, the 2 seconds, the 3 seconds it took that guy to pay attention to him could have been was definitely cover for the rest of the people that got out.
Josh D'Angelo says he knew other people who didn't make it, regular bowlers who often practiced on Wednesday night at the bowling alley.
Jay and Mike, they were regulars in there just practicing and drinking and having a good time with their friends. Aaron and Bill, Aaron was in there every Wednesday practicing with Bob, so I knew that Bob was in there with the kids every Wednesday night.
And Josh says the owner of the bowling alley have gotten counselors to help all the employees cope with this tragedy. We're live in Lewiston. Brad Rogers, CBS 13. It's Greg.
Well, they're certainly going to need all the help they can get. We know their community is embracing them in their hugs tonight, too. Brad, thank you. And our team coverage continues now with CBS 13's Owen Kingsley. Want to take you back live to Lisbon for the first of what will be a weekend of vigils. And Owen, important to know what exactly was said there tonight.
Well, a crowd of hundreds stood shoulder to shoulder, friends and neighbors tonight, as local church leaders led prayers and words of hope after this devastating tragedy. The nonprofit Positive Change Lisbon organized tonight's gathering. They say the community in Lisbon has been scared and under lockdown for multiple days, not knowing where the gunman from Wednesday night's shooting was, as police staged a manhunt. The police presence here has been intense, with helicopters overhead and dive teams in the river. They say there was a sense of relief when the shooter's dead body was found Friday evening. And while so much healing is still ahead, tonight was about feeling connected again.
And he's going to speak for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then the hope is that the community speaks to each other, that everyone has a chance to just kind of turn to your neighbor and get a hug, get a pat on the back. We are a community, absolutely, but we are a family. And there are so many people in our community that just need that family bond, that reassurance. Absolutely. I have 4 children myself, and we were in the one of the search patterns. So every 5 minutes we had a helicopter going by, and we weren't alone in that. Every part of this town, roads closed, everybody felt it, and after a certain amount of that, it's tough. It's hard, especially for the kids, but hopefully this will be a start, a small step towards feeling relief, feeling like I'm safe, everything's okay.
2 more ceremonies are already scheduled for tomorrow back over in Lewiston at 2 o'clock. There's a prayer service at the Basilica, and also in Lewiston at the Basilica at 6 o'clock there will be another vigil. Live in Lisbon, I'm Owen Kingsley, CBS 13 News.
All right, good to know the healing has begun. Owen, thank you. Coming up next, separated during the shooting and reunited. The story of survival from a mother and daughter next. Among so many stories of loss and survival, a mother and daughter separated during the shooting at just in time, then reunited after. Mother and daughter Tammy and Tony were at the bowling alley when the gunman started shooting. Now, during the commotion, Tammy fell to the ground and was able to hide behind a table with a group of people, while her 10-year-old daughter Tony, with the help of another man, was led out of the building. Now, 2 hours after the shooting, Tony was able to reach her grandfather, Fern Aslan, who said, "I'm not dead."
I broke down because it was so rewarding to hear that, and because I'd been through 2 hours of hell, believe me, and so were many other parents there.
I felt happy to tell him that I'm okay.
But that family is far from unscathed. The mother's cousin, 53-year-old Tricia Aslan, is among the 18 who lost their lives. Also among the victims, a 14-year-old boy who died with his father. Jennifer Egan spoke with the teen's grieving sister, who is the father's stepdaughter.
He was an honor student. He was really proud of that and had a lot of friends and was so nice to everyone too. And I know his friends are devastated too.
Sister Kayla Putnam tells us Aaron was thoughtful, kind, and fun-loving. He was also really close to his dad, Bill. They died together Wednesday night at that Lewiston bowling alley.
Aaron loved to bowl, and it was something they did fairly regularly, and just happened to be that night.
Now the young family is reeling. Kayla's mom, Cindy, trying to absorb this double shock.
If my mom had lost one of them, if she'd lost Bill, she would want Aaron to comfort her. If she lost Aaron, she would want Bill to comfort her. Now she doesn't have either of them.
It's hard to grapple with it. It really is.
Winthrop Superintendent Jim Hodgkin, a father of four himself, is now preparing to console Aaron's school family.
How are we going to help deal with the children? How are we going to deal with the teachers?
And fondly remembering the freshman who is so into music, he'd started a garage band in middle school and hoped to do the same at Winthrop High.
Was well liked, well respected. This is really horrible. It's senseless. It's horrible. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's so sad.
Well, we had a lot of sunshine out there for the daytime today, but temperatures also very, very warm across the state. We did break a record high in the Portland area this afternoon, and you can see outside in Portsmouth we are dry right now. Temperature is 72 degrees, But let's get a look at the record high temperature that was set today. We topped out at 80 degrees in the Portland area. The old record was 78 degrees set back in 1947. The temperatures right now are in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. The numbers are falling. They were about 73 degrees last hour in Portland. Now it's down to 64. So the temperatures are crashing, and you can see up towards the north, we're already almost into the 50s up towards look at that, 40s in Rangeley over towards Berwyn. Now, as we look at the satellite and radar, we are dry across the state right now. Not so much off to our west. We do have a storm system that eventually is going to work in as we head through the next day and a half to 2 days. Now, the forecast for the nighttime tonight, we'll see increasing clouds. Temperatures will run in the 40s. It will be breezy as well. We'll even see some upper 30s up towards the far north. As we head into the day tomorrow and really through the day Monday, rain is going to develop. It looks like showers are likely for tomorrow afternoon, and then a period of rain Sunday night into the day on Monday, even some mountain snow possible as well. But look at these temperatures. They're going to fall from the 50s into the 40s. This is tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at high temperatures only topping out in the mid to upper 40s, and we also will see some rain and even some mountain snow as we head into Sunday afternoon and Monday. So here we go. Some showers will develop later in the day on Sunday, mainly in the southern part of the state. As we head into Sunday evening, I think there's going to be some scattered showers around. Look at the snow up towards the north. This is for areas like Rangeley and Jackman up towards the far north. We are expecting some accumulation as well. Not much, but we are going to see some mountain and north snow with temperatures running again in the 30s for the day on Monday up towards the far north. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll see rain for the day on Monday for most areas, some mountain snow. Halloween right now looks mainly dry. It will stay cool, temperatures running in the 40s, then some rain or snow showers possible Wednesday. Greg?
Yeah, from what we've got today to that, okay, bottom's going to fall out. Ryan, thank you so much. And we do want to thank you at home for joining us tonight at the end of what has been a dark and very hard week here in Maine. These are heavy, heavy times, of course, but Mainers, as we know, are strong people, and we're going to get through this together. Have a good night.